Well, that's quite an evening, isn't it? Now, I want to start off by telling you something you know would be obvious, which is that I love my kids, but after that introduction, I'm going to miss them, but I'm still going to love them. I want to begin by saying thank you, and I want to say thank you first to Toronto, because they've given me a mandate and they've allowed me to continue to serve in this job, which is such a privilege. And I want to say thank you to the people of Toronto for their confidence, for their support, for their inspiration, and for this historic mandate that they've given me tonight. And I want to thank my opponents in this campaign. You know, it's not an easy thing to do, to put your name on a ballot. It takes courage, it takes a lot of endurance to run a race this long, and ultimately it takes a lot of faith in democracy and a belief that in our system of government you can do something, you can make a difference. And I want to thank all of those who ran, and in particular, I want to acknowledge Jennifer Keesmaat, who finished second and who brought ideas forward, which I'm sure we will discuss in the coming days. And of course, I want to congratulate those who won seats on Toronto City Council tonight. I look forward to working with each and every one of them to make a great city even better. So my thanks as well go to, and congratulations go to those who didn't win tonight. Your caring for our city is evident, especially those who have served on council and whose service ended tonight, at least in part because of the reduction in the number of wards. So let's give them a round of applause. Now, you were all part of a great team, and I thank you so much, and I want to thank the campaign team, especially my co-chairs, Vic Gupta and Vince Gasparo, my campaign manager, Luke Robertson. Better watch out. You might be running for something at that kind of thing. The communications team of Kirthana Kamalsavan and Courtney Glenn, and through them the entire team, that many of them still out across the city doing the superb job they did on Election Day today. I want to thank you for your professionalism, for your amazing hard work, and above all for your friendship, because it is something where we become friends in these kinds of joint endeavors we undertake together. Because this historic win belongs to you as much as it does to me. And I just want you to know, out of deference to the whole result and how great it is, and especially to the team, I am pushing back the start time for the morning staff meeting to 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Okay, 8:30. I want to thank the volunteers, hundreds of them, and they're out across the city tonight. They couldn't all get back here when the polls closed. But I want them to know that their hard work and their determination means a lot to me. It means the world to me. And finally, of course, my family, my kids, who I do love, notwithstanding some of those comments that they made. My mother is here, my brother. In fact, several of my brothers have helped, my sister. And above all, thank you to Barb, because she, as the kids said, they're right about this. She's put up with a lot, with all of what they described as my political shenanigans. But in the end, she means everything to me. And she has put up more than any one person should ever have to put up with. Where did she go? She's over there somewhere. So thank you, Barb. Now, some of you will have heard me say during the campaign that I was in North Etobicoke meeting with some moms from the Somali community. They were telling me that their kids, who did everything they were told, they're amazing, they did all the right things, they got a great education, they made good choices, and yet they're having a hard time connecting to the jobs and the opportunity that we know exist elsewhere in the city. Where we were sitting that day in Rexdale, we could see the CN Tower off in the distance, way off in the distance. All the great things happening in our city seemed quite far away. It might as well, in some respects, have been happening on the moon. I thought about those moms a lot over the last few weeks, and it seems to me that job one over the next few years is to continue the work of connecting Toronto up in many different ways, to bring opportunities closer, to bring people closer, to bring us closer to our ultimate goal, which is a truly great 21st century city, a livable, affordable city with opportunities for everybody. A place where no neighborhoods are left out, where no groups of people are left out. We've done a lot to bring those opportunities closer. We've attracted the likes of Shopify and Intel and Microsoft and Google and Uber, building on the incredible community of entrepreneurs and startups who are actually here first. We've got 70,000 smart, ambitious people every year coming here to pursue their dreams. We're generating billions in revenue for the province of Ontario. We're connecting our disparate and diverse neighborhoods together like never before. We are physically connecting people to opportunity. 6 new subway stops on the Spadina line. The Crosstown finally nearing completion. Real work being done to build Smart Track. And for the first time, real solid work on the relief line. These are things that are getting done. And they're going to connect people. We are doing more to connect young people to opportunity through our youth employment strategy. And I have made a specific pledge, an important one, to bring the rate of youth unemployment down much further. We are doing more to attract the attention of the world through film and television and tech and financial services and the arts, all areas where we excel and where others now look to us from around the world as global leaders. And we have done all of this while keeping a lid on taxes, something which directly addresses the affordability issue confronting many Torontonians. I've heard the message loud and clear that we must do more to speed up the increase in the supply of affordable housing so people from every single income group will be able to live here and work here in our great city of Toronto. And that speed up on the supply of affordable housing is exactly what we're going to do. Une ville affordable et juste à Toronto a besoin d'un travail plus rapide sur le logement affordable et la mise en réseau de plus de personnes. C'est exactement ce que nous allons faire. Building on the foundations of the last 4 years, over the next 4 years, my goal is to make sure that no one anywhere in our city feels like opportunity is a distant point on the horizon. We must continue to be a city that is a place of hope for everyone, not a place where people lose hope. So after a brief rest, I am ready to get back to work with the council. In fact, I never stopped working, and I'm going to get back to work with the new council, with the other governments, with the people to get things done. Because we are just getting started in getting this city moving and getting it connected and bringing opportunities closer to home. And we also have a duty, quite frankly, to bring people closer to each other. I've met with moms and dads and families affected by the recent gun violence. And I know I've witnessed 2 things to be true. One, that we need to do more to tackle the causes and the consequences of gun violence in this city, and I'll be making a renewed and very determined effort in that regard. And 2, I've learned this truth as well. No child comes into this world wanting to hurt others, to engage in violent criminal activity. No child at all. Yes, we need stricter laws and we must support our police, but we also have to invest in kids and families and neighborhoods right across this city. Through job fairs, through mentorships, through recreational opportunities, arts, sports, music, parks, through all the means that we have at our disposal as a city to break down the barriers that divide and build our people up, all of them without exception. And that also means, I should tell you, because this is going to be something I'm going to focus on, as you've heard me say, it also means tackling mental health and addiction. Yep. Plain and simple, my friends, this is a crisis. It is a crisis in our city affecting way too many Torontonians. And it is morally and practically wrong for us not to do much more together to meaningfully address it. Bringing a city closer together also means saying categorically and forcefully and as strong and as often as we need to that those who sow division, the racists and the peddlers of hate, they have no place in this city and they never will have a place here. On this and other matters, I make no apology for the fact that I believe building up this city, bringing people together, changing hearts and minds on issues, including discrimination, that change will not come from attacks on each other. All of these challenges require us to harness every single bit of talent that we have in business, academia, labor, nonprofit sector, and street by street across this wonderful city. It requires leadership from government, yes it does, which I can assure you that I will provide. It requires better and more productive partnerships with the other governments, partnerships which I am committed to strengthening. Ultimately, it falls to each and every one of us, not just leaders in government, not just governments themselves, not just nonprofits, every single person to say, how can I help? How can I build? How can I do my part to make sure this city really comes together? A livable, affordable, opportunity-filled city that continues to be the envy of the world. My friends, I think we are closer to that city today than we were 4 years ago. I think we can all feel that. Things are better. Things are improving. But there is much, much more to do on transit, on affordable housing, on access to opportunity, on building up and in some cases restoring trust that has been lost. People have made it clear they want to see their governments work together to bring on these changes now, not on some distant day in some other administration. Now, as quickly as we possibly can, because the people of our city have waited long enough for the transit that we lack. They've waited long enough for the parks and the playgrounds that our kids deserve. They've waited long enough for the affordable housing that we need and for the quality of life that we all seek to be enhanced even further. And the people of Toronto have told me they want to get things done. They want us to get things done, all in the cause of keeping this one of the world's most livable cities, a place where for all the turmoil in the rest of the world, we remain a place of hope and a place of example. And so I say, not just to my own staff, that 8 o'clock meeting is coming soon, but I say to city councillors, I say to city staff, I say to my friends in business, my friends in labor and the nonprofit sector and other levels of government, let's get to it. Let's get at it. I'm going to be calling on absolutely everyone. Together, I think we can get things built. We can tear down barriers. We can make sure that this city reaches its full potential. And at its core, that means opportunity for everyone without exception. It means that that opportunity must be closer than it has ever been before for everyone without exception. And I believe, my friends, I believe in my heart that with competence, with collegiality, with compassion, and a huge amount of love, which I have and I know you do for our wonderful, wonderful city, that we can together get on with getting back to work for you, which I certainly look forward to doing. And I thank you for giving me such a strong mandate to do so. Thank you very much. Have a great evening. Celebrate tonight. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.